Our next speaker is Jennifer Manili. As a certified coach, Jennifer Manili has been working with families who have loved ones with substance abuse issues. She has been doing this for the last 6 years. Jennifer has over 16 years in recovery from a serious drug addiction. Her experience with her own substance abuse issues provides experience and insights that families need in order to communicate better and set effective, supportive, and loving boundaries. Please join me in welcoming Jennifer Manili.
Thank you. Well, like she said, my name is Jennifer Manili, and I am a recovering drug addict. And I always get a little nervous about telling a room full of, I guess, what we like to call normal people. But I want to kind of paint a picture. So if you feel uncomfortable, imagine how I would feel standing up here actually telling you this. But I want to paint a picture of how bad it was for me. I was shooting heroin and cocaine. When I walked back into rehab for the second time, I weighed 107 pounds. Now, I'm not going to tell you how much I weigh right now, but 107 pounds is not a lot. And I was pretty darn close to just having my organs just fail, right? Because at that weight, with my height, it just wasn't good. And now this is the part of the story where normally I launch into my story, but I actually don't want to talk too much about my particular story. I want to talk about my family story a little bit. Because they're the ones that, as much as I was struggling, they were struggling more. Because they had no idea what to do. My mom, she was an executive banker. My family does not have drug addicts. That's not what we did in our family. Our family is, you go to school, you get good grades, which I didn't, but you get good grades. You go to college, you get good grades, which I didn't. And I was just missing the mark on everything. But that's what my family did. You go to school, you go to college, you get good grades, you get a career, and then you work for the rest of your life until you're retired, and then you die. That's what we do. That's not what I did. That was not my story. And in the meantime, my mom is sitting around floundering, trying to figure out how to help me, how to talk to me, what was really going on. And it was more scary for her to watch me. There were times where I would disappear and I would, not talk. I would be missing. She put a little file together in case she had to go give it to the police to find a missing person. Now, there was one night I did kind of go missing, except I did come home and I was like, Mom, I don't know why you're so freaked out. I knew exactly where I was, but she didn't. And when it came time for me to get back into rehab, she didn't really know who to go. Finally, we did finally get to the point where I got myself situated, right? Now I'm going to fast forward because this is really where I want to talk about the families even more. I started working with families a few years ago because I knew that they needed help. One of the things that I came across was the majority of the time, they weren't ready. It is really challenging for the families to start talking to someone like myself about the most vulnerable point in their life, the life that is filling them with shame, because they have these kids out there that are doing all of these horrible things that they're like, I did not raise my kid to be this person. I don't know who this person is. And so they're full of shame. They have a hard time talking about it. But the truth is we got to talk about it. Now, the people that end up working with me have been going through this challenge for years, and they just get to the point where I don't care, I just need help, please help me. Dear God, what do I do? And they're so desperate, usually it's about 10, 15 years in, and guess who is dealing with them, the families, for the 10 or 15 years that they're not getting help? It's you guys. You guys are the ones that are sitting there watching them struggle, have no idea what to do. Now somebody comes to me and they say, I need help, or I'm going through this. Somebody comes to me with that, my immediate response is, I'm going to help you. I may not know what to do, I may not know what to say, but I'm going to help you, right? And so they sit down and we just kind of start spinning in circles because it's like the blind leading the blind, right? No one really knows what to do, what to say, how to help them. Have you done this? Have you done that? You should do this. You should do that. And sometimes those ideas are really great, and sometimes those ideas, maybe they've tried them, they haven't worked, whatever it is. So I actually want to help you help them. Because I'm going to go through what I do in my services that have been the most helpful for me to get them started talking about what's really going on and how to get help. And then we can do some things. Now, one of the things, the first thing that I do is I help them remember who their loved one really is. Beyond the behaviors that they are exhibiting, I help them remember their kid that has long been forgotten because of all the crap that they're pulling and how angry they are. I get them tapped into their heart. I get them tapped back into your loving kid is out there struggling. I know you're angry, but they're so smart. They're so capable. They're brilliant. Have you ever wondered why, most of the celebrities are all drug addicts? Because we're freaking awesome when we actually figure out how to manage ourselves, right? We are powerful people. And it's important that even when they're doing some bonehead decisions, and they're stealing, and they're lying, and they're doing all this, that we remember who they really are. It's just like Jeff talking about labels, right? We have to remember what's inside. And when we can tap into that, they start talking, they start feeling more confident, they start feeling more brave. Now we can start actually getting somewhere. So, this is why I call this talk A Voice for the Forgotten Child. Because we have to remember who that child is that is in front of them. So when you have someone that comes to you and they're like, I have this kid that's going through this, the best thing for them is to hear how powerful their kid really is and remember that point. Because then those parents start becoming more able to receive information, to get back into love, to get back into, okay, I can do this. There's this chart, I love this chart, by the guy named David Hawkins. He did emotional frequencies. Now, most of the time, the parents that I work with are all in here. This is where they live. There's not a whole lot of places that parents can go with inside of themselves that's positive as long as they're living in here, right? You can see this is destructive. What we need to get them into is an expansive. I don't have a whole lot of time to go deep into this part of it, but I do want to just point out how high love and joy is. When people are able to tap back into love and joy, they start feeling a little bit braver to go get help for themselves. And that's what we need for those families, is to go get that help, to become brave, to become strong enough again, to feel like, okay, because they're living here, most of the time, and shame and guilt. And one of the things that I want to say is that this is not a parenting issue. This whole thing is just about learning how to deal with someone like me. This is about skills. This is about tools. And this is why I wanted to be here today, is to tell you the biggest tool that I use is to help them remember who their loved one really is. So if you're ever faced with this, that's what I want you to do for them. And then you can give them my information. Because they actually may be ready to get the help that they so desperately need. Thank you.